Hey everybody, this is a Galaxy 2150 12-inch oscillating desk fan. Now this is what I refer to as the 3rd gen version. It's the version that was in brown, a brown color scheme with sort of an almond tone. Uh, the white plastic part is more of an almond tone. Um, and this was, I believe, one of the 3rd or 4th model that they put out. Um, yeah, there's several different versions of these that came out. These are the ones that came out around the mid to late 80s. So this one's probably from around 85, 87, somewhere around then. Um, but this one is slightly earlier because it still retains the older lowercase Galaxy logo. That was just regular like block lettering. In the 90s, they switched over to the wavy logo, which had uppercase lettering. Um, and this one I got this one used off of Facebook Marketplace for $5. It's not in the best condition, but it's in okay condition. Um, Actually, I'd say the only thing that's wrong with it is the center grill medallion. The chrome is wearing off, as you can see. But other than that, it seems to be in pretty good condition. So I'll turn it to the side. Now this one, for some reason, doesn't have a handle on it. I'm not sure if there was supposed to be one attached to the grill or if there was supposed to be one attached to the back of the motor here. Um, I don't know, it just didn't come with one, so that might have been, I know they sometimes did that. So here's a nice side profile view. It has a click and place neck bracket, so as you can see, that still functions. Put it back up. This one has the later style one-piece motor housing, where the entire sort of sleeve here goes all the way back, rather than stopping right about here. And then the vents on the back are the kind that go around the perimeter. This is actually my very first one of these that I have that has these style vents, and I'm really happy about that, because I love this design here. So yeah, this one has the same basic, I think, design as the 2nd gen ones, but they kind of just redesigned it a bit. They made the cage a lot more wider and squared off. Once again, they made the motor housing one piece and changed the venting design. The oscillator knob is slightly smaller, and well, it's not smaller, it's like thinner and it's taller. And instead of screwing on to the oscillator, like the gear part, it just snaps on, so it's easier to get off. Now, push buttons on the base. It has the regular, not the non-piano key style buttons, the regular buttons. And it says 12-inch oscillating fan, off, low, medium, high, and the buttons, of course, do the increase in color as the speed gets higher. Yeah, so now I'd mentioned that this is the 3rd one that they made. Now I do have examples of the other two. So the first one that they came out with in the early 70s was this one. And this is this one's actually a Lasko labeled model, but they also made ones for Galaxy. These are made by Lasko, by the way, with Sanyo parts. So like the motors from Sanyo, but all of the plastic and metal was made by Lasko. So this one's actually labeled by Lasko, but the Galaxy was kind of like their sub-brand. So the very first ones were in a blue color scheme, and they had a very big, bulky, squared off base, which is something very typical design of the 70s. This one I think is dated 73 or something like that. And the blades were rounded. They were rounded on the ends. And then in the late 70s, early 80s, they switched over to this design here. And this is where they kind of, they kept this basic design all the way up until like the 90s, with this sort of really sleek, streamlined base that kind of transitions into the neck like that. It's really clean. Still has the 2-piece motor housing, like I said. And this one also has that. And that older oscillator knob with the screw. The blades are still rounded, and it is still in a blue color scheme. And then they switched to this model. Well, actually, they did make a model between these two that I do not yet have, and that's kind of uncommon. It had all the characteristics of this one, but it was in a brown color scheme. So like it had the two-piece motor housing, it had the rounded blades, but the blades were brown, like this one. Now then they switched over to this design, which was the third gen model. So the one that has like the characteristics of both of these, that one I call the 2.5 gen. So this is the third gen model, the brown one, and of course this one they kept the base design of the second gen, switched over to the one-piece motor housing, made the cage bigger and more squared off, and made the plastic parts almond colored. And then they switched in the 90s to the fourth gen design, which I do not yet have a model of. The fourth gen design was the gray model 2150. Now I used to have one of those when I was little, and believe it or not, that is the very last one that I still have yet to find, so I just think that's really ironic. But the very first one I ever had is the last one I have yet to find again. Now after that they made another version, was this one. This is actually an Air King model, but these came, I think, either around the same time or slightly after the 4th gen gray ones came out, because this one has definitely a cost-cutting design with that cheap plastic base and the switch on the motor. But that's not the topic of this video. So, move this one back over here. First, let's take a look at the bottom of the base, show you the label. So it has all 4 of its rubber feet still present, and it is Type 12-1 style KIC. KIC or K1C? I can't tell. And then other specs. 41588. I'm not sure what that means. I don't think that's a date code. Okay. So now we're going to turn the fan on. Start it up on high. It's very powerful and very quiet. Medium. And low. I definitely might consider using this one regularly this summer. It's a really nice runner. And of course I did the usual, lubricate and cleaned it when I got it. It was pretty dirty. Not terrible, but it was just pretty dusty. It had been sitting for a while, the lady said. Okay, we'll spin it down from low now. Now you may notice it's doing a little bit of shaking. Now that might be something with the gearbox, because you'll notice when I turn the oscillator on that it doesn't oscillate very smoothly. It kind of wobbles around a little bit. That might be because I didn't have a chance to grease the oscillator, put new grease in the gearbox. I don't have any new grease actually right now, so I'll have to run out and get some. Maybe that'll fix it. Or maybe one of the gears is like chewed up or something. I don't know. But either way, it's got some issues with the oscillator, but it works. So we'll engage that and start it up on low. It's not that bad on the lower speeds. It's pretty annoying on high. I mean, it doesn't really make any noise. It's just that it's annoying to watch it just shake and shudder like that. Okay. Medium. Yeah, you can see it's starting to get pretty bad now. When it sweeps to the right, it doesn't really do it, but it's when it's sweeping to the left, that's when it just wiggles around like that. It's weird. But like I said, it's not making any noise, so whatever works. Alright, up to high. And it's blowing everything around in the shop, of course. Okay. And spin down. I did not test it before I oiled it, so I don't know if it improved any. But it seemed a little stiff, I think, when I spun it by hand. So I think it improved. Yeah, that's a pretty long spin down time. These Galaxies are known for having great bearings. Now, I want to see if I can't catch this startup noise on camera, because these 80s Galaxies are known for having really great startup sounds. So I actually haven't listened to this one very closely, so we'll get a chance to hear it here. If whoever that is can stop walking around and making the floor creak. Okay. Well, it didn't have very much of a sound. I don't know, I've heard videos of these, or seen videos of these on YouTube, where they just have that really pronounced just noise as they're starting up, which is just really satisfying. But anyway, that is the Galaxy 12-inch model 2150, 3rd gen 12-inch oscillating desk fan. I think I said 12-inch twice. Anyway, thanks for watching, and more to come.